Shalom, fam. It's your Moray, Jaden Israel. Welcome to Real Talk Tuesday. Live stream is going up on a Tuesday. Hey, what it do? What's good, family? Let me know that you are here. Pull up in the chat. Say peace. Say hi. Say shalom. Say something. Tonight, we have a special edition. I like to wish everybody happy Hanukkah. Happy Feast of Dedication. This is an exclusive. This is a special live stream. Family, this is not an ordinary Real Talk Tuesday. We are in the time of Hanukkah. The festival of Hanukkah is 8 days long, and we are in the time of the Feast of Dedication. Before we get started, family, checking YouTube Studio, it says, excellent. All praises to our great King. We are live, family. The mistakes are absolutely on your moray. They're absolutely free. I'm not going to charge for the mistakes. But I got to use this as an opportunity to show this shirt. Check this out, family. Designed by yours truly. You can get this shirt. I'm going to show you how you can get this shirt and where you can get apparel like this. That way we can represent the kingdom when we are in the public, when we are around our family, especially during this time, during the holidays. All right, family. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I got some goodies for you. That's right. Let me go ahead and share these goodies. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Tonight, family, we are going to cover a story that is not taught often. You probably haven't heard this story in Christianity, and you probably haven't heard this story in the Awakening. But we're going to get into it because it happens it happens in the Hanukkah season. Let me go ahead and share these goodies. All praises. Sorry about that if you heard anything, family. This is what you want to do. On screen is the video that you're watching. All you got to do, family, is go below the video. The title of today's live stream, Eleazar dies for his faith. 2 Maccabees 6:18 through 31. I repeat, Eleazar dies for his faith. 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 18 through 31. Hanukkah edition. Now below this video that you are watching, click where it says more. Click on the description. Hanukkah sale, 20% off, ends December 26, 2025. We have a special sale going on, family. 20% off the trading mastery course. This is a steal, family. This is a steal. Learn how to trade. You can trade part-time or full-time. It's up to you, family. Hebrew Mastery Bundle. It's time to tap in and learn our language. Let's take back our language. And you can do so by clicking on the link and getting 20% off the Hanukkah sale. Free goodies. Your favorite four-letter F word. 30 words in Paleo Hebrew, Biblical Hebrew, and English. Video tutorial and free PDF download. Yahusha's prayer in Hebrew and English. The Lord's Prayer. Video tutorial and free PDF download. The Ten Commandments in Hebrew and English. video, PDF. The Shema prayer in Hebrew and English, video, PDF. The priestly blessing in Hebrew and English, the benediction. You guessed it. Video and free PDF download. Family, these are absolutely free. I created these video tutorials and I created these free PDF downloads. That way we can tap into our language for free. You want to go deeper? Want to start learning Hebrew? This course right here is perfect for beginners and for cheapskates. I'm just playing with you, family. Just having fun. You know I like the joke. Complete Biblical Hebrew course. If you want the complete course right here. Now, if you want both courses put together, I recommend the Hebrew Mastery Bundle, the Hebrew Mastery Bundle, the Hebrew Mastery Bundle for 20% off. Hanukkah sale includes both the Hebrew Foundations course and the Complete Biblical Hebrew course. And if you'd like to check out all courses, go ahead and click on this link right here. Enroll now. Need Hebrew Israelite apparel? You want to rock this shirt that you see? You want to rock similar shirts like this? Look at this shirt, family. I'm definitely showing off tonight. Look at this shirt. You can get apparel like this. You can represent for the kingdom. Let me show you how. Just click on the link. Need Hebrew Israelite apparel. And when you do that, you get to check out a plethora of apparel that we have on Kavod. Kavod is the name of the Hebrew Israelite apparel brand. Kavod, styled in legacy. Kavod means honor, splendor, glory. Shalom, unlock 20% off your order. For example, these beautiful couples t-shirts that you see on screen, both shirts together can be 20% off. I'm going to show you how you can get that 20% off. This is a mistake. This should be 5.0. This is a mistake. I repeat, it should be 5.0. The customer's not always right. Some customers are in the fakening. So go ahead and scroll down. On the left side are the categories. The right side is just some content just to show. But there's more. 4 people have this in their cart. You've heard of Christmas sweaters. Well, family, we have Feast of Dedication sweaters. That's right. Forget a Christmas sweater. Get you a Hanukkah sweater. If you want 20% off that Hanukkah sweater, right here, use this link. Use that link, family. 5-star review from this order on December 11th, 2025. All glory. All glory. Shout out to Hasad Yah. All praises to Yah. All right, family, let's get back to the description as we wrap up these announcements. If you want exclusive behind-the-scenes content, behind-the-scenes footage, advanced biblical teachings, advanced biblical tools, and bloopers, if you want to laugh at my mistakes, at my pain, go ahead and subscribe to the Patreon. Unsubscribe, subscribe anytime, family. Cash App, PayPal, buy me a coffee, or ways you can support the ministry. Let's be inspired by Eleazar's faith during this Hanukkah season. We're going to get into the story real soon. Also, on the top of the page, on the top of my page, click on more to get our schedule. The Shabbat Word, Friday nights, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. I repeat, the Shabbat Word, Friday nights, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. The Shabbat Word is Shabbat service, which includes prayer, praise music, and preaching. I'm a preacher, family. That's what I do. That's what I love to do. I love to preach. Hang out with us, family. Let's worship Yah together. Right here. Motivation Monday. I release motivational videos Mondays, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. Real Talk Tuesday. Open panel live streams. Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, Tonight is Real Talk Tuesday. This is a special edition because we are in the time of Hanukkah. This Real Talk Tuesday episode is occurring during Hanukkah. Also, links, trading course, 20% off right here. Hebrew Mastery Bundle, 20% off right here. I really encourage you to get this Mastery Bundle. It's a steal. All Hebrew courses right here. We have courses for children and adults. You can learn alongside your children. We also teach Gematria as well. Patreon, Etsy, Cash App, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, IG, Facebook, Meta, Jade and Jazz. Here's my wife and I's channel. My wife and I, we speak about Black love, trending topics, celebrity news. It is a secular show. However, as Israelites, we balanced. We're not bumaclots. And if you'd like to get in contact with me, you have to do one thing on one condition. You have to verify that you are a human. All praises to Yah. Well, those are the announcements, family. That's the schedule. The title of today's live stream: Eleazar dies for his faith. 2 Maccabees 6, verses 18 through 31. Let me go ahead and type that again. Eleazar dies for his faith. 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verses 18 through 31. Hanukkah edition. That's better. Just like that. Shalom, shalom to Elder Zakane Byron Willer. Shalom to Zakane Byron Willer. Thank you for joining us tonight. Happy Hanukkah to you and yours. Happy Hanukkah to everybody that's listening online and everybody in the chat. As you can see, I ain't shy about the Feast of Dedication. I'm repping. I'm showing off. I'm flossing. Look at this shirt, family. It got fringes too. Check it. Fringes. I don't want to show my goodies. Y'all see that? Fringes right there. I sold on these fringes, family. I sold these on. All glory to Yah. I usually don't wear fringes, to be honest with you. I prefer tzitzits. To me, they're flexible. Like you can put them on, you can put them off. You clip them on, you clip them off. With these babies, once they're on there, they're on there. Ain't no clipping off. But with tzitzits, you can just clip them right on, clip them right off, and they don't damage your clothes. And they look fly too. They look wet to me. I love wearing tzitzits. Fringes, I like fringes, but they're not very what's the word? They're not very they're not as easy to wear. I put it like this. You got to spend the time and the money to sew on the fringes. Make sure you do a good job sewing them on. And then before that, you got to come out of pocket to buy the fringes, to buy the blue ribbon. And you got to have a brother machine or a sewing machine or know somebody that knows how to sew. So it's much more convenient to wear tzitzits. And they're cheaper and they're fly. So however you get down, family, whatever you prefer. But I prefer tzitzits, but I do rock both. All right, so we're going to get into this story here real shortly. Hopefully you guys are having a great time during Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a festival. It's a festival. It is a celebration. It's a time of singing, of joy. Got the menorah right here, family, representing. All right, let's get into it. Before we get into it, let's do this. Let's start with the song because we are in Hanukkah. And check it out, family. Hanukkah, it's a celebration. It's a time to be happy. It's a time to have fun. And let's celebrate it with our family. If you like, it's optional. It's not a feast day. It's not a commanded day to celebrate by Yah. We are not commanded by the Torah to celebrate Hanukkah. It's optional. It's up to you. However, instead of being miserable during the Christmas time, you can replace Christmas with Hanukkah. Christmas is one day. Hanukkah is 8 days. Check it. New Year's is around the corner. You add up New Year's and Christmas, that's 2 days. Hanukkah, 8 days. In the awakening, we have more days off than the world does. Family, we partied out. As Brews, we have so many celebrations. And I encourage you to celebrate Hanukkah, to make it fun for your kids. That way, you're not miserable during Christmas time. Your kids are not miserable during Christmas time. Come on now. Let's keep it real. Hanukkah, you can give gifts on that day, on those days, depending on how you want to do it, depending on how you want to celebrate Hanukkah. If you want to celebrate it all 8 days or just one day, you can give gifts on Hanukkah. I look around this community, it seems like a lot of Brews are actually Jehovah's Witnesses. They act more like Jehovah's Witnesses than Hebrews. But hey, it's just my observation. Now, what we're going to do, family, we're going to start off with a song. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let me get it ready to go. Almost there. It's commercial. There we go. This song was actually from the Feast of Trumpets. My wife and I, we sing this song that we're about to sing together and sing along with this family. All glory to Yah. With us, Elohe Avotenu, the power of our ancestors. Yes. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yahovah Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu. Bridge. Nirba, nirta, be'uzenu, kumya, shevya, lanu, haya, Yahovah Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu, Yahovah Eloheinu, Elohe Avotenu. Bridge. Nidba, nita, be'uzenu, kumya, Hanunaya, Yehovah Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Yehovah Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Yehovah Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Yehovah Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu. Yeah. All praises, all glory, all power to Yahuwah.
Yeah.
Thank you for singing Elohei Avotenu with us. Thank you, fam, for singing with us. All glory, all praises, all kavod to Yah. All praises. Hanukkah is not a time to be sad. It's not a time to be miserable. It's a time to celebrate. All glory to Yah. At this time, let's get to the story of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 6, verses 18 to 31. I don't have it up yet. Just give me a second, family. And family, we appreciate it. If you just hit the like button while you're here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate the support. Tonight, we'll read and discuss the story of Eleazar, a righteous elder whose faith was tested under persecution. Second Maccabees, chapter 6, verses 18 through 31. You can find the story of Maccabees in the Apocrypha. So if you have the Apocrypha, you can go ahead and open up the Apocrypha, or you can follow on screen with me. You can find the Apocrypha on BibleGateway.com. BibleGateway.com. Shalom, shalom to Ophir, 1984. Shalom, shalom to you. Happy Hanukkah, the feast of dedication. Happy Hanukkah to you and yours. We're going to check out the Revised Standard Version, the RSV. And pulling up the story right now. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Almost got it. I'm on chapter 3. Let me go ahead and get to chapter 6. There we go. All right. Eleazar dies for his faith. 2nd Maccabees chapter 6, verse 18 through 31. It's not a long story, family, but it's an important story. Here we go. Hallelujah. You can find 2 Maccabees chapter 6 on BibleGateway.com. BibleGateway.com. What you want to do, family, is go to Bible book list. Click on the Bible book list. It's got the Old Testament, the New Testament. Scroll down to the Apocrypha right here and click on 2 Maccabees right here. Click on 2 Maccabees, and when you do that, find the chapter and start reading it. And then begin the story. So here we go, family. All praises to Yah. Now, before we read the story, let's get a backdrop. Historical context. We are in the time of Antiochus IV Epiphanes, who ruled the Seleucid Empire. The Seleucid Empire. He ruled the Seleucid Empire from roughly 175 to 164 BC. He ruled the Seleucid Empire from roughly 175 to 164 BCE. His goal was to erase Yehudi identity and force our people to adopt Greek culture, aka Hellenism. I'm going to go ahead and show you an image here momentarily. I'm going to show you an image of Antiochus IV Epiphanes, but it's important we know what time we are in during this story that we're going to cover today. Now, during this time, circumcision was banned. Torah study was banned. Shabbat observance, I repeat, Shabbat observance was banned. Our diet that we got from Yah was banned. Our kasher diet, which is commonly called kosher. Our kosher diet was banned. These were not just private spiritual practices. They were markers of covenant identity. They tried to make, and they did make our ancestors eat pork. The issue is family. This is deep, family. Eating pork was a public. Let me word it this way. They tried to make our ancestors eat pork, and they tried to get our ancestors to assimilate with Greek culture. Now, let's get to the story. Let's go ahead and let me go ahead and show you Antiochus IV. He was the ruler of the Seleucid Empire who tried to erase Yehudi identity and culture. Let me go ahead and pull this picture up. Let me share my screen. Antiochus IV. That's Antiochus IV. During the story that we're going to read, 2 Maccabees 6, 18 through 31, Antiochus IV Epiphanes was the ruler. He was the ruler of the Seleucid Empire. He tried to erase Yehudi Torah culture. He tried to make our ancestors eat pork. He tried to Hellenize our ancestors. Now check it. Let's get some more. The youthful, clean-shaven face of Seleucid king Antiochus IV Epiphanes, 175 to 64 BCE, resembles Alexander the Great, 356, 323 BCE, with features of age such as high hairline, rendering, blase, 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 blase. Right here. It is only on display at the Altes Museum in Berlin, Germany. Just wanted to show you this image. All right. Now let's check out the Seleucid Empire. We're just getting a backdrop, family, because this is history. This happened. And this is our history. Britannica.com. Right here. Antiochus IV Epiphanes, born 1215 BCE, died 164 in Iran, was the Seleucid king of the Hellenistic Syrian kingdom who reigned from 175 to 164 BC. As a ruler, he was best known for his encouragement of Greek culture and institutions. His attempts to suppress Judaism brought on the wars of the Maccabees. Hebrew highlighter. All praises. Here's a map of the Seleucid Empire. It's huge. That's the map of the Seleucid Empire, family. Hellenistic world, 188 BCE. Seleucid territory, right here, in this purple color. Ptolemy territory in the blue. Independent Greek states in the green. Independent Greek states in the green. Anti-Gonid territory right here in the yellow. Hellenized non-Greek kingdoms in the orange. And pink independent territories. City, states, cities right here. Mesopotamia in the Seleucid and Parthian periods right here. Just want to give you an overview, family. Hallelujah. Okay, now let's begin the story. Now that we have a backdrop, let's start right here. The martyrdom of Eleazar. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. Let me go off screen, make it a little bit bigger. Well, that's too big. Whoa. Okay, that should be good right there. All right, family. The martyrdom of Eleazar. Remember, as we read this story, keep in mind, Antiochus IV, Epiphanes, tried to force our ancestors to assimilate to Greek culture. He forced. Let me repeat that. Antiochus IV Epiphanes forced assimilation to Greek culture. Antiochus IV Epiphanes, the ruler of the Seleucid Empire during this time, he forced our ancestors to abandon Torah to practice Greek pagan culture. He tried to force our ancestors to abandon Torah for Hellenism. Now let's begin. The martyrdom of Eleazar. Eleazar, one of the scribes in high position, a man now advanced in age and of noble presence, was being forced to open his mouth to eat swine's flesh, to eat pig. Swine is pig. But he welcoming death with honor rather than life with pollution, went up to the rack of his own accord, spitting out the flesh, as men ought to go who have the courage to refuse things that it is not right to taste, even for the natural love of life. Those who were in charge of that unlawful sacrifice took the man aside because of their long acquaintance with him, and privately urged him to bring meat of his own providing, proper for him to use, and pretend that he was eating the flesh of the sacrificial meal which had been commanded by the king, so that by doing this he might be saved from death and be treated kindly on accounts of his own friendship with them. But making a high resolve, worthy of his years and the dignity of his old age and the gray hairs which he had reached with distinction, and his excellent life, even from childhood, and moreover, according to the holy Elohim given Torah, he declared himself quickly, telling them to send him to Hades. Such presence, Salika family, Salika, Slakia, such pretense is not worthy of our time of life, he said, lest many of the young should suppose that Eleazar in his 90th year had gone over to an alien religion. Highlighter. in his 90th year. And through my pretense, for the sake of living a brief moment longer, that should be led astray because of me, why I defile and disgrace my old age. For even if for the present I should avoid the punishment of men, yet whether I live or die, I shall not escape the hands of the Almighty. Therefore, by manfully giving up my life now, I will show myself worthy of my old age and leave to the young a noble example on how to die a good death, willingly and nobly, for the revered and holy laws. When he had said this, he went at once to the rack. There's a footnote right here. Other authorities read was dragged. So in other words, we can read it like this. When he had said this, he was dragged at once to the rack. And those who a little before had acted toward him with goodwill now changed to ill will, because the words he had uttered were in their opinion sheer madness. Footnote: the Greek text of this verse is uncertain. We keep it a buck around here, family. You know how we do it. When he was about to die under the blows, he groaned aloud and said, "It is clear to Yahuwah in his holy knowledge that though I might have been saved from death, I am enduring terrible sufferings in my body under this beating. For in my soul, I am glad to suffer these things because I fear him." All praises to Yah. Praise Yah. So in this way, he died. Leaving in his death an example of nobility and a memorial of courage, not only to the young, but to the great body of his nation. We're highlighting this whole verse. This verse can sum up why he was a martyr. He was a martyr. Eleazar was a martyr. So in this way, he died, leaving his death an example of nobility and a memorial of courage, not only to the young, but to the great body of his nation. I want to highlight this again. Eleazar, one of the scribes in high position, a man now advanced in age. He was 90 in his 90th year, as we read, and of noble presence, was being forced to open his mouth to eat swine's flesh. He was forced to break the law of Yah. He was forced to break Leviticus 11. And guess what? He did not break the law of Yah. His death left an example of nobility and a memorial of courage. His death was an example of nobility and a memorial of courage. Not only for the young heads, but also for the whole nation, for everybody of the nation. It's powerful, family. And you're probably wondering, what's the big deal? You're probably not wondering that, but you might be wondering that. You might be wondering, okay, why not just eat some pork? Well, let's think about this, family. Let's think about this. This was an attack on our covenant identity. For as the children of Yah, we are in covenant with our Creator. And included in the covenants is to stay away from certain foods. This was deeper than just food, family. This was about obedience. Either obey the Greek king who thinks he's a god, either obey the Greek king who thinks he's a god, or obey Yahuwah, the King of Kings. Eleazar died a martyr to leave an example of nobility and courage, to be an example for the entire nation, from the old to the middle age, to the old age, to the old heads, to the elders. He left an example to all the nation. This was about obedience to Yah. This was about our covenant identity. That's why we don't eat certain foods. We are commanded by Yah to stay away from certain foods. Now, how many brews would do this today? If this was to happen today, how many brews would do this? The way how I see this, I don't know how this does not light a fire under your ASS. The whole point is that he left an example of nobility and courage. That's the point. That's the point. He was willing to lose his life in order to give courage and nobility for the nation. And remember, this happened before the story of Hanukkah. This happened before the Maccabean revolt. Family, it's deeper than just Eleazar refusing to eat bacon. It's deeper than Eleazar refusing to eat pork chops. This was about faith, dignity, and identity. Let's highlight where it says refuses to pretend. is up here. One second, family. Let me go ahead and get it off screen. Let's start with verse 21. Those who were in charge of that unlawful sacrifice took the man aside because of their long acquaintance with him and privately urged him to bring meat of his own providing, proper for him to use, and pretend that he was eating the flesh of the sacrificial meal, which had been commanded by the king, so that by doing this he might be saved from death and be treated kindly on account of his old friendship with them, by making a high resolve, worthy of his years, in the dignity of his old age, and the gray hairs which he had reached with distinction in his excellent life, even from childhood. And moreover, according to the holy God-given law, he declared himself quickly, telling them to send him to Hades. Such pretense is not worthy of our own time of death. Is not worthy of our time of death. Salika family. Such pretense is not worthy of our time of life, he said, lest many of the young should suppose that Eleazar in his 90th year had gone over to an alien religion. And through my pretense, for the sake of living a brief moment longer, that should be led astray because of me, while I defile and disgrace my old age. We see that Eleazar was a leader. He was a leader that led by example. He was a leader who would not compromise. He was a leader who would not sell out. Okay, I'm removing this person right here. This person is definitely in the wrong room. We're not playing today. This person must like pork. They must be offended by the story. Family, we are empowered by this story. This is empowering, family. This is inspiring. Yeah, we ain't playing today. Sometimes I entertain the trolls, but today, no, we're not. No slack whatsoever. And the word right here, family, pretense, just if you're wondering, pretense, definition, a false display of feelings, attitudes, or intentions. In other words, Eleazar did not want to put on a show. He did not want to pretend that he was eating pork in order to live, in order to escape execution, in order to escape being killed, being murdered. we see that Eleazar, he showed that he was a man of integrity. He was a leader within our community. Eleazar was a leader who was about integrity and loyalty. All praises. I'm just checking the chat, family, wondering what I'm doing. Just making sure we ain't got no trolls up in here. Eleazar showed his faith. He showed his loyalty and his integrity. He would not sell out to Hellenism. He would not sell out to Greek culture. He would not sell out to Hasatan. Eleazar shows that faith is not always about loud miracles. Sometimes it's about quiet resistance, personal dignity, and refusing to be a bad example to the next generation. This was a pivotal moment. His death was a pivotal moment. His death led into the Maccabean revolt, the story of Hanukkah. Now, Hanukkah is a time of gladness. It's a time of joy. It's a time of celebration. Now, this story, after reading it, you probably don't feel like celebrating right now. You probably don't feel like having a party right now after going through this story. However, it's important, family, that we check this story out, that we do not ignore the life of Eleazar. In order to enjoy and to celebrate our victories, in order to celebrate, to appreciate, to honor our victories, sometimes, family, we have to look and reflect on our losses. In order to understand good times, we have to understand sad times. And this was a sad time. And at the same time, an inspiring time. His death inspired the Maccabean revolt. It inspired the next generation. It inspires us today. Even though this story may not make you want to go and jump up and down and and have a party and start dancing and start singing and start celebrating. It's important that we reflect on those who paved the way for us today. For Eleazar paved the way for the Israelites living in captivity under King Antiochus IV Epiphanes of the Seleucid Empire, the Greek Empire. He paved the way for the Maccabean revolt. His memory inspires us today to revolt from American, Western, Christian culture. Let's remove ourselves from their pagan ways. Let's remove ourselves from their evil ways. For they forced their Western Christian culture upon us. We lost our names. We lost our diet. We lost our culture. We were scattered, enslaved, and oppressed. Today, let's turn to Yah. Let's tashuva, sankofa, turn to Yah. Let's keep Yah's Torah. For they don't want us to keep the Torah. They want us to keep Christianity, Islam, selfism, the religion of self. Let's be inspired by the courage, the nobility of Eleazar. Let his memory inspire you. Let his memory to inspire you. Let his memory to inspire you to resist Hasatan's culture. Let's stay true to Yah, to the Torah. Let's love Yah with all of our heart, all of our might, all of our soul. Let's love our neighbor, which includes the Israelite and the non-Israelite. That's right, the non-Israelite too. Don't forget about the non-Israelite. Don't forget about the Greek. I know that our ancestors were oppressed by the Greek. Our ancestors were killed by the Greeks. They were murdered by the Greeks. They were forced to practice Hellenism by the Greeks. They were forced to eat pig by the Greeks. However, according to the Torah, we are commanded to love the Greek. In the modern world, through the transatlantic slave trade, they took our identity, they took our names, they took our diet, they took our culture. And they forced upon us a pagan religion and a pagan culture. But guess what? As Yah's peculiar treasure, we're Yah's peculiar treasure. Why? Because we keep the covenant and we obey his voice. Since we keep the covenant and we obey Yah's voice, we are commanded by Yah to love the Caucasian, to love the European, to love the Arab, to love all people. I understand there's a time and place for everything. Absolutely. Let's be balanced. Let's use wisdom, chokmah. Let's love Yah. Let's love each other, which includes the Israelite and the non-Israelite. And let's love ourselves. Don't forget to love yourself. Don't forget to love the person you see in the mirror. This is a powerful story, family. This is very powerful. It's sad and inspiring at the same time. If that can make sense, family. That's how I feel. I feel sad and inspired at the same time. It's sad because he lost his life. They tried to force him to eat pork. Think about how humiliating that was. Think about how humiliating that could be. Think about it, family. Eleazar was a leader, a zaken, a elder. He was a scribe in high position. He was a scribe of high position, as it says. They attempted to humiliate him. This was about humiliation. This was about assimilation. The Greeks, they made this about assimilation and humiliation. They tried to humiliate one of our leaders. He carried a righteous name from his childhood. And he was willing to not pretend to eat pork in order to live, to assimilate, to be humiliated by the king. It says the king in here. It doesn't mention Antiochus in here. It says commanded by the king. But I'm connecting the dots, looking at it historically. This took place during the Seleucid Empire. So I inferred this is speaking about Antiochus the fourth Epiphanes family. I'm making that inference. So, I like to keep it a buck. I'm extremely dorky, but and you see, they try to bargain with them. The people that was quote unquote cool with them, right? They were trying to bargain with them. They was like, okay, just pretend to eat some pork, even though you're not eating some pork. Why don't you eat some beef instead? And guess what? He said, this is what he said right here. And moreover, well, this is what it says. This is what it said right here. This is what he says right here. But this is how it's read right here. Here's the statement before he actually starts speaking. It says, and moreover, according to the holy God-given law, he declared himself quickly, telling them to send him to Hades. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Telling them to send him to Hades. It says Hades. Let me go to the Good News translation. Let me see how they read that verse. It reads differently right here. I know my screen was shared. It says, those in charge of the sacrifice had been friends of Eleazar for a long time. And because of this friendship, they told him privately to bring meat that was lawful for him to eat. He need only pretend to eat the pork, they said, and in this way he would not be put to death. But Eleazar made a decision worthy of his gray hairs and advanced age. All his life he lived in perfect obedience to God's laws, to God's holy laws. So he replied. So they take out the Hades part. Y'all see that? It says Hades in verse 23. Verse 23 says Hades. But then when we go to verse 23, it doesn't say it. No mention. It's worded differently. So we'll go ahead and we'll read the story again. We'll read it in the Good News translation. Eleazar dies for his faith. This is from the Good News translation. There was an elderly and highly respected teacher of the law by the name of Eleazar, whose mouth was being forced open to make him eat pork. But he preferred an honorable death rather than a life of disgrace. So he spit out the meat and went willingly to the place of torture, showing how people should have courage to refuse unclean food, even if it costs them their lives. I'm highlighting that whole portion. Those in charge of the sacrifice had been friends with Eleazar. They had been friends. Those in charge of the sacrifice had been friends of Eleazar for a long time. And because of this friendship, he told him, and because of this friendship, they told him privately to bring meat that was lawful for him to eat. He need only pretend to eat the pork, they said, and in this way he would not be put to death. But Eleazar made a decision worthy of his gray hair and advanced age. All his life he had lived in perfect obedience to God's holy laws. So he replied, kill me here and now. Such deception is not worthy of a man of my years. Many young people would think that I had denied my faith after I was 90 years old. If I pretended to eat this meat just to live a little while longer, it would bring shame and disgrace on me and lead many young people astray. For the present, I might be able to escape what you could do to me. But whether I live or die, I cannot escape Almighty God, El Shaddai. If I die bravely now, I will show that I deserved my long life. It will also set a good example of the way young people should be willing and glad to die for our sacred and respected laws. As soon as he said these things, he went, or was dragged to be tortured. And the very people who had treated him kindly a few minutes before now turned against him because they thought he had spoken like a madman. And these were his quote unquote friends for a long time, quote unquote. I'm saying quote unquote, but that's what it says in the text. It says they were friends for a long time, but they turned on him. This makes me wonder, well, were they really friends in the first place? I know that's what the text says. Eleazar, a highly respected leader of the nation of Israel, chose to die with honor, with dignity, and loyalty to Yah. He kept it a buck, and they turned against him. They turned against him while he was being dragged, or while he went to be tortured, and they turned against him. Where's the compassion? He's about to be tortured and he's about to be killed, yet you guys are not showing your compassion. I'm looking at this, I see frenemies. I can see, from my opinion, they're not to be trusted anyway. Suppose somebody was to tell them, okay, I'll go ahead and eat this beef and pretend it's like pork. How can they be trusted? When they know the secret, they know that, Jaden, you really didn't eat pork. You ate beef. But the whole point is you did it in order to save your ass. One foot in, one foot out. I'm using myself as an example. If I was put in this situation and I chose to listen to my friends and I was like, okay, I'll eat the beef and pretend it's pork only to save my life at the cost of assimilation, at the cost of losing my Torah culture, losing my identity, losing my dignity, my respect, my reputation, my integrity. All those who looked up to me, they ain't looking up to me no more. Why? Because I pretend to eat that poke. They thought I ate the poke, but really the friends, they know that I ate the beef. But they know the secret. They know the real. That means they can blackmail me whenever they choose to. So I'm looking at the story and I see I don't know if I can call these people friends. For they was upset. They was mad. They was pissed that he was not willing to give up the Torah. He was not willing to give up Yah's laws. He was not willing to sell out to the Greeks. He kept it a buck, and his quote unquote friends got mad. Instead of having compassion, they got mad. As soon as he said these things, he was dragged off to be tortured. And the very people who had treated him kindly a few minutes before now turned against him because they thought he had spoken like a madman. When they had beaten him almost to the point of death, he groaned and said, Jehovah possesses all holy knowledge. He knows I could have escaped these terrible sufferings and death. Yet he also knows that I gladly suffer these things because I fear him. So Eleazar died, but his courageous death was remembered as a glorious example, not only by the young, not only by young people, but by the entire nation as well. Thank you, family, for joining us tonight. I wanted to share this story. Hopefully it's inspired you. Hopefully it motivates us to, hopefully it motivates you, family, to stay strong in your faith, even while you are hated on by your friends for embracing Hebrew culture, the fact that you embrace Torah culture, even though you are hated on by your friends. I hope that this story strengthens your faith. I hope that this story strengthens your faith, even when your family give you a hard time because you practice the Torah. That's what it be. The biggest fight be from our family and from our friends. I've lost friends because of the awakening. And the fact that my family knows that I practice Torah and that I embrace Israelite identity and culture, it has created division within my own family. So I know exactly how you feel. I know exactly how it feels to be hated on, to be rejected because you stand strong on Torah. I hope that this story encourages you. I hope that the memory of Eleazar keeps you strong, especially during this time. This is the time where our family and our friends want us to assimilate into American culture. This is the time where our family and our friends want us to practice pagan culture. They want us to celebrate Christmas and New Year's. I hope that this story of Eleazar has lit your menorah and keeps you burning with desire to keep the Torah. This is a powerful story, family. Let's stay strong. Let's be like Eleazar by representing through integrity, nobility, loyalty, courage. Let's be strong. Let's be courageous. Let's stay away from Christianity, from Christmas and the New Year's. Now, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna end right here, family. I'm not saying you can't visit your family on Christmas. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying just completely cut them off. I know that a lot of brews do that, and that's your choice. for my opinion, as a more, I think you have the right to visit your family on Christmas. But when you do so, instead of wearing a Christmas sweater, bring your Hanukkah sweater. Bring your Feast of Dedication shirt. You can represent for the kingdom of Yah with your family. So if you do decide to see your family on Christmas, what I suggest is that you represent the kingdom of Yah. If you can, with your apparel, it's even better when you do it with your apparel because everybody's going to be rocking the Christmas stuff. They're going to have their Christmas trees and Christmas ornaments and decorations, and people are going to be dressed up like Christmas. But use that as an opportunity to represent Yah. It's an opportunity. But hey, if you don't want to be tempted, if you don't want to deal with it, if you think it may cause a fight with your family, then hey, I understand. Don't even go over the house. I get it. But what I'm saying is that you actually have that option to go over your family on Christmas and represent for the kingdom of Yah. That's right, family. It's an opportunity. But at the same time, let's be strong. Let's be devout. Let's be about it for our faith. In the words of Master P, let's be about it, family. Let's be about this life. All glory, all praises, all kavod to Yah. Also, I like to say, before I close, apparently we have some brews in the awakening that don't know the difference between, check it. You got brews in the awakening that think Hanukkah is from the J community and Feast of Dedication is different. Family, there's no difference. Hanukkah is the Feast of Dedication. I repeat, Hanukkah is the Feast of Dedication. I got a comment today. Actually, I got 2 comments today, and I've got comments in the past from quote unquote Hebrew Israelites saying that Hanukkah is not the Feast of Dedication. You can't make this stuff up. It's incredible. The ignorance within our nation, it's insane. Family, the word Hanukkah means dedication. Hanukkah is the Hebrew word for dedication. And if you don't believe me, let me just go ahead and show you. I want to end with some humor, because this is funny to me. Dedication. The word dedication. This lets you know that a lot of our people are not interested in our language. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It's embarrassing. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's go to blueletterbible.org. I got 2 comments today from somebody saying that it's not Hanukkah, it's the Feast of Dedication. They were trying to make claims by saying that I celebrate Hanukkah, which is not the Feast of Dedication. And let me just go ahead and just give some edification. The word dedication, just typed in dedication, go to lexicon. It's right here, family. It's right here, Hanukkah. Chanukah, chanukah, chanukah. And that's in Aramaic. Also in Hebrew, dedication. Right here, chanukah. It's the same word, chanukah in Hebrew. If you don't believe me, here we go.
Strong's H 2598. Chanukah, chanukah,
Chanukah, chanukah. What does chanukah mean? Dedication. You can even see it right here. Chanukah. Chanukah. You also see it again. Chanukah. Dedication. From chanak, which means to train, dedicate, inaugurate. Train up, dedicate. Most Hebrew words come from verbs. Chanukah is a noun that comes from the verb chanak, which means to train up, dedicate. Chanukah is a feminine noun, which means dedication. Also, the word feast is chag, chag, chag. Go to lexicon. Right here, family. Chag. Chag. Festival, feast, feast gathering, pilgrim feast, festival sacrifice. And it comes from the root word chagag, which means make pilgrimage, keep a pilgrim feast. You put it together, chag, which is feast, chanukah, dedication. The feast of dedication. I repeat, chag, chanukah. Translation, feast of dedication. Chag means feast. Chanukah means dedication. Just wanted to give some clarity. I just want to end on a humorous note. I find this funny to me that you got brews that think there is a difference between Hanukkah and Feast of Dedication. It's the same thing. The Feast of Dedication in Hebrew is Chag Chanukah. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, family. So I encourage you, family, to be strong. Don't sell out. Don't sell out. Let's not sell out, family. Let's be strong and let's represent for Yah. Also, if you are interested in learning the Hebrew that I brought up on screen, if you're interested to read this for yourself, Chanukah, no, we don't need to be in the land to keep this feast. We don't need to be in the land. It's optional. It's optional. African Hebrew. It's optional. Family, if you're interested in reading Hebrew, you'll be able to understand, and you'll be able to know how to correct a lot of these Israelites who do not know what they're talking about. You can make the correction. You can edify them because they say there's a difference between Hanukkah and the Feast of Dedication. No, it's the same thing. We just read it. Chanukah means dedication. It's the same thing. Chag means feast. Chanukah is Feast of Dedication. There's nothing to see here. Now, if you're interested in learning on how to read the Hebrew that you see on screen, go below the video, click on the 20% discount. It expires. It expires on Kwanzaa. It expires on December 26th. So you can use that 20% discount to enroll in the Hebrew Mastery Bundle. Just go below the video and go ahead and tap into your language if you are interested. And here is the commercial for it. After this commercial, I'm going to close out. African Hebrew, I just read it. I think you came in late. African Hebrew, we just read it. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you again. It's all good. It's all good because Hanukkah, which is dedication, it's the same thing. The feast of dedication in Hebrew is Chag Hanukkah. Chag Chanukah, and translates as feast of dedication. You can find the story, African Hebrew. You want to find the story of, well, correction. We didn't read the story of Hanukkah. We read a powerful story that led up to the event of Hanukkah. So I encourage you to rewind this video back and check out the story that we covered. But this story that I read today, I'll make my correction, Salika. We didn't cover the story of Hanukkah today, but what we did is we covered one of the events that led up to Hanukkah. Yeah. So I appreciate that, African Hebrew. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's all good. I could tell, but it's all good because I didn't go over the story of Hanukkah. I went over a powerful story that you must know. It's a powerful story that you must tell your family, your friends, a story that you must be inspired by. It will inspire you. Now, I'll go ahead and answer your question. You said, where can I find this feast in the Bible? I got you. Let me go ahead and show you because it's not in the quote unquote, well, it's not in the Old Testament. It's not in the New Testament. It's in the Apocrypha. You can find the story of Hanukkah in the Apocrypha. And let me show you where you can find it. I actually have the screen up. I just got to click on the link on the video. Let's go to playlists, feast days and celebrations, because it's not a feast day. It's not an appointed time. It's not an appointed time. It's not a Moedim, but this is where you can find it right here. So right here, African Hebrew, you can find the story of Hanukkah right here. Let me show the video. The story of Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication. It's in Maccabees. You can find it in First Maccabees. And it's right here. Just click on this video and I actually read the story. I read the story. You also find it in Second Maccabees as well. The story of Hanukkah is found in First Maccabees and also in Second Maccabees. For sure, fam, for sure. Yeah, but let me say this. Let me say this to you, African Hebrew. Like Hanukkah, it's not in Moed. It's not a Moed, which is a appointed time. It's not an appointed time. We don't find it in the Torah. So you're correct. You're not going to find the story of Hanukkah in the first 5 books of the Bible. You're not even going to find the story of Hanukkah in the Old Testament. You're not going to find it in the Torah, the first 5 books. You're not going to find it in the prophets, the Nevi'im. You're not going to find it in the Ketuvim, the writings. You're not going to find it in the Old Testament. You're going to find it in the Apocrypha. You're going to find it in First Maccabees and Second Maccabees. And I teach the story. I read the story. I'm actually reading the story. Right here in this video. The story of Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication. And you can read alongside the story on on BibleGateway.com. BibleGateway.com. So if you want to read the story online, just read it at BibleGateway.com. No, it's not a law. No, it's not a law you don't have to keep. It's optional. And not all brews celebrate Hanukkah. It's completely up to you. It's completely up to you. Now check it. Yahusha HaMashiach celebrated Hanukkah. I repeat, Yahusha HaMashiach celebrated Hanukkah. Let me show you the example. John 10:22. Right here. Yahusha HaMashiach kept the feast of dedication. It says, Yahusha asserts his deity. That's how it's phrased in the KJV. John 10:22 says, and it was at Jerusalem. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication. And it was winter. And Yahusha walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Right here. I and the Father are one. That's how it's titled in the ESV. And at that time, the feast of dedication took place at Jerusalem. It was winter. And Yahusha was walking in the temple in the colonnade of Shlomo. So right here, the feast of dedication. I'll go back to the KJV. I know a lot of brews like the KJV. I prefer the Hebrew, but I get it. And this is originally written in Greek. So, the New Testament is written in Koine Greek. But right here, family. So yeah, to answer your question, it's not a law. It's not a Torah law to keep. Same with Purim. Purim is not a law that you have to keep. Purim is optional. Hanukkah is optional. It's totally up to you. I like celebrating Hanukkah. Hey, I like celebrating. And I need an excuse to drink. So, hey, that's a good excuse to drink. Responsibly, that is. But it's to each his own. But I like to keep Hanukkah. I mean, at least acknowledge it. What I'll say is if you don't celebrate it, don't pretend like it didn't happen. Like, don't just completely ignore it. Just at least be aware of it. And, let's honor and praise our great King for giving our ancestors the strength to carry out the Maccabean revolt. I'm not going to give away the story. You can go ahead and check out the story. But I just wanted to leave on a little bit of a humorous note because I find it hilarious that I have to bring this information out that Feast of Dedication is the same thing as Hanukkah. It's embarrassing that I have to bring this out. It's only embarrassing because brews are actually making this claim and I'm getting challenged and rebuked for it when Feast of Dedication just means Chanukah. Chanukah means dedication. It's the same thing. There's nothing to see here. So that's the part that's embarrassing. But hey, if we don't, it'd be different if somebody was asking and they wasn't sure and, being respectful about it. But to go out of your way and write me a 5-page letter, like, family, I got 2 comments today. Both comments were extremely long from Hebrew Israelites telling me that Hanukkah is not the Feast of Dedication. You said, how can we celebrate it and what do on that day? I got you, African Hebrew. I got you, fam, right here. So if you are interested, this is once again, I say this out of love because I've seen you in the chat showing love previously. So absolutely. I mean to come with no disrespect. If I came off a little disrespectful, I gotta say, you know, I apologize to you. I get a lot of trolls from time to time, and today I was not having no troll activity, not on Hanukkah. So if I got a little passionate, please, you know, Salika Slakia, you know, it's all love, fam. But to answer your question, how can we celebrate it? What do on that day? So my answer to that question is another video right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'll show a snippet just because I like your energy. I like the questions because it gives me an opportunity to plug my videos. I'll be here all day. Right here. Hebrew Israelite Feast of Dedication Celebration. How to celebrate Hanukkah as an Israelite. I'm actually going to show a snippet. Actually, I'm just going to show like a picture. I'll show a picture from it. So let me go off screen. Bam. That's a snippet right there. Well, it's actually not a snippet. It's a photo. A still shot. There we go. So if you're interested on how you can celebrate it, watch this video. We give you suggestions on how you can celebrate it. This is an actual template. This is a template on how you can celebrate Hanukkah. Right there, fam. So yeah, we give you this is a template on how you can celebrate Hanukkah. It's my wife and I celebrating Hanukkah. We went live last year and we had a great time celebrating Hanukkah. Yeah, African Hebrew, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, fam. You know, hey, you're not alone. You're not by yourself. A lot of us are waking up. I don't know about you, but I don't know a lot of Israelites in my area. So that's one of the reasons why I'm online. I get to connect with like-minded people, and you know, we celebrate the feast days together. Like last year, I went live on pretty much. I think I went live on like all the feast days, almost all the feast days and celebrations. I went live on a plethora of celebrations last year. But I think it's important that, you know, we get together online, even if we can't get together in person with Israelites in our neighborhood. We got no excuse to do it online. I mean, we got social media, we got the internet on our phones, we got the technology, so we have the opportunity to come together. And yeah, I think it's a great idea, African Hebrew. It's a beautiful thing, and just know that you're not alone, because a lot of us were coming out of Christianity, and you know, it feels a little weird, a little different at first. You know, even practicing Hanukkah. When I first learned about Hanukkah, I was like not sure about it because the way how it's been branded. throughout the years. I didn't really make the correlation with our people, but I didn't make the correlation with Hanukkah with our people until I started doing the research and learning. But yeah, this is part of our legacy. This is part of our story. In a way, it's kind of like our Juneteenth. Hanukkah is kind of like our Juneteenth. And you know, I acknowledge Juneteenth as well. I grew up celebrating Juneteenth, but I still acknowledge it. Absolutely. I still keep it dear to my heart for sure. Iowa, okay, for sure, for sure. Shout out. But yeah. So I understand. You know, it can be a little confusing. Like, how do I celebrate Hanukkah? Like, are you sure? Are you sure is it really Israelite culture? And you know, a certain community does it, but are we supposed to do it? But what I'm saying is, like, this video right here is a template. You notice I got 7 candles. I don't have 9 candles. I got 7. The menorah had 7. So, you know, I do my best to remove, you know, the influence that was put on Hanukkah, you know, from, you know, the other nations. And I try to just keep Hanukkah from, you know, from an Israelite perspective. You know, at least I try to, but I ain't gonna lie, because I incorporate some things too in modern world. Like my wife and I, like my wife, she made jambalaya. So, hey, some things will never change. We Israelites and we still black. In this live stream, I had me some hot sauce. I had the Cristal hot sauce. So my thing is, like, just make Hanukkah fun. Incorporate our culture within it. We have the freedom to do so. When I say culture, I'm talking about our food. You know, like you can have you like some you can have you some fried fish. I have fried fish. On Hanukkah, you can have fried foods. And okay, Brother Ruben, you gotta go. Obviously, Brother Ruben does not like Hanukkah. He's got to go. If he does, he has a odd way of showing it. This is not the night. This is not the night. But yeah, it takes courage to even start celebrating this feast days, because yeah, our family and our friends, generally speaking, are not celebrating it. You know, our family that lives around us, our family and friends that live around us are not celebrating the feast days. But, you know, I have y'all, and you guys keep me strong. You guys motivate me. And, you know, together, let's grow. Let's motivate one another. Let's build with one another, and let's connect with one another. So I give you a list of ideas on how you can celebrate Hanukkah. This is a template on how you can celebrate it. But my thing is, be creative and have fun. Be creative and have fun. So I'd like to thank you, family, for joining us tonight. Let's be inspired by the faith of Eleazar. All glory, all praises, all kavod to Yah. I'd like to thank everybody in the chat and everybody listening online. I'm Jaden Israel. Until next time, shalom, fam.